What's going on, YouTube? So, Tyler Austin here, and today we're going to be covering some lead management stuff. And by the way, before we get into the lead management, stick to the very end because I'm going to show you guys something really awesome that I think will be really beneficial for you and your real estate business. But I need to start doing more YouTube videos. I just life takes over. I get a hobby, I fly my plane, I buy a boat, I do these other things, and then I just it gets away from the things that you know, I really want to be focusing on and I really want to be doing. I gotta get kind of back into it. I gotta just suck it up and follow what I teach my community, the Willing Relentless community, and just be willing, relentless, and just kind of just do what it is that I know so many people want, which is me to start posting more content on YouTube because I haven't done it in so long. I started doing it in the mornings and I stopped. Whatever, irrelevant. Lead management. Let's get to it. So we at REI Sift, the CRM that I use in my real estate company, we have got a new feature that we launched in it. Okay, and it's not really a huge thing, but it's a small thing. And I figured I have to go in there and update some of my filters to use this new little convenience item. And I figured I'll show you guys my lead management process while I do that at a pretty high level. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it. We're going to notice that in my business, there's probably some stuff that's behind because my lead manager has been on vacation and stuff. But hey, that's okay. You're going to see how when they get back, how easy this process is actually going to allow them to get caught up. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to hop over inside of REI Sift. There we go. Oh, I disappeared. Where am I? There we go. I'll stay in the bottom left corner, even though you guys really don't care about seeing me. I think it is better because I can then point at you. No, okay. So first and foremost, this is REI Sift. I'm not going to go into what REI Sift is or anything like that, but it's my CRM. Okay, I'm going to go to my records page. I have sensitivity mode set on, so all we can see is just the first names here. We can't see anything else. If you're a Sift user or anything like that, or you're ever doing content for YouTube or your videos for your team, you can do sensitivity mode by just clicking a drop down, clicking sensitivity mode, and just enabling them. It blurs out any information that YouTube would not like. So that's pretty cool. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you going into SiftLine, which is essentially our pipeline boards in my account. And you'll see I have a few different here. I got lead management, acquisitions, transactions, any flips, and then the rest of these are marketing related. So urgents are like records that they're prospects which we're trying to get a hold of because something has happened, fully exhausted our records, which every single phone number is wrong or dead from marketing. And return mail is what it sounds like. It's stuff that's been returned mailed, like this postcard here. Well, this one I sent to myself, but it's something that gets returned. We can focus on trying to get a hold of those homeowners. And so REISF is a CRM. It's actually a sales and marketing CRM. And so you have all your prospecting data in here, which you can add via, for example, our like Sift map. So you have your prospecting data you put in the system, and then we use integrations like Call Tools, Ready Mode, Smartphone, Smarter Contact, and Direct Mail built internally so that you can market outbound to homeowners, receive back market response, be it wrong numbers, dead numbers, and then if they convert to a lead, then you have your lead management process there inside. And so there's a quick explainer. I guess I said I wasn't going to get into it, but I got into it anyway. Okay, so here's my lead management flow here. And you see I have new leads, and these are all customizable. I created every one of these boards myself. And so I have a new lead, which is an unqualified, meaning it came inbound from a marketing channel, whether it be my website or something else. Like we can look at this one and see. I'm just going to click the quick view instead of going into it, and I can look and see this came from Carrot. So this is a Carrot lead right here. And so, which it came in on the 29th, actually. So that's pretty overdue. So yeah, so these need to not be in here. Ideally, by the end of every day, new leads have been attempted to be called. When you go to attempt a new lead, meaning that a lead manager is getting on the phone with them and trying to qualify that lead, I then consider them in engage mode, or some people consider this like not contacted new leads. It's the same equivalent. I just consider it engage new lead because I'm engaging that new lead. Okay. I'm trying to get them on the phone so that I can then try to qualify them. So engage new lead, they sit under here for typically about 3 days. It's a 3 follow-up cycle. And so if I were to open one of these up, it could be overdue right now. Like this one's overdue from the 31st. Again, lead manager is definitely behind, but that's okay. You can see this is the second attempt. Attempt 02. So they'll complete this task, do another task. So they'll click complete, add new task, and then they'll choose a preset and they'll add that attempt 3 engage task on that record. Once they complete that task, then they'll move that to the nurture, which is still unqualified. All that nurtures are is their new leads that we've already went through the 72-hour, try to get them on the phone, and moving forward, they just stay under here and with a task that is due every 2 weeks. So for example, if I look at this one, I see there's 5 of 6 tasks completed. This has 2 out of 3. This has 6 out of 7. This has 10 out of 11. This has 13 out of 14. So this one's been in here for a little while, most likely. So this nurture task is due on the 9th. So here in a couple days. And you can see basically there's been a lot of tasks that have been on this, a nurture, another nurture. And so this one's been being nurtured, meaning they haven't picked up the phone. If they picked up the phone after they became a lead, then they would become qualified, which would be a cold lead, warm lead, or hot lead. And so basically you have 2 phases of lead management. You have your unqualified lead management phase, and then you have your qualified lead management phase. The point of the unqualified, phase, the first 50%, is to get that lead on the phone and get them qualified by an acquisitions or lead manager in order for you to figure out where does this person belong in my sales cycle. Okay. And so once you qualify them as cold, warm, or hot, then you have your qualified lead follow-up, which is really, really, really easy. And so many people just overcomplicate the crap out of this with drip sequences and everything else. Keep it simple. The reason why people default to these drip campaigns is because they make up excuses on why they want to work in something else instead of giving this the time and energy. If you have a good lead manager, or at least a half decent one, they're going to do really good on keeping up with, even 500 leads or so themselves, because not all tasks are due in the same day. Typically at around 35 tasks a day. So meaning 5 days a week, at least 35 leads that need followed up with or called is what a lead manager can handle. And what's crazy is somebody will go and they'll have 60 follow-ups in a single day, and they'll be like, oh, wow, that was a lot, right? Switch to big view here. So they get 60 leads in a day, and they're like, oh, that's a lot. I feel overwhelmed, and I didn't get it all done. The next day, though, they have 2. But they let the 60 lead follow-ups that they had in one singular day dictate that some process needs to be created, when in all reality, no. Just call through those 60 and just randomly schedule them out on different days so that you can bounce that load out. The only reason why you got 60 in a single day is because most likely at some point in the past, you had to play catch up, and so all those ended up becoming due on the same day. And so don't let a singular moment dictate a whole way that you do business. It should be the same all the time, and you'll know when it's the right time to hire somebody. Just don't hire somebody based off of emotions, okay? All right, switching back. So now you have your cold, warm, and hot lead follow-up. After you have that, you basically have send to acquisitions. So if somebody from cold, warm, or hot is ready for an offer, I also have an underwriting phase here. So if a lead manager gets somebody who's ready for an offer, I have my lead manager underwrite the property first, and then they put it under the send to acquisitions board, which is pretty straightforward. Literally, what we do, like this one, we have this under contract right now. You open it up. I'll do the whole board. I'll go into the whole record here. We open up the whole record, and from here, after they choose send to acquisitions, they scroll down here and they just add it to the acquisitions board. It's already on there right now, and you can see it's under contract signed even. But this was a carrot lead. You can see here it came in from a carrot list. I can scroll all the way down, and I can actually see when it came in, the date, the times, and I can listen to the conversations and see the text messages and all that other kind of stuff. But right now, contract is signed. I actually need to add this to the acquisitions board, though. I just realized it's not, or the transactions. So I'm going to add it to, because it's under contract right now, obviously, and it's already been sent to the title company, but I'm going to update this to initial checklist is being ran right now. Once that initial checklist is done, this isn't a transactions training, but it'll, move down through that simple pipeline. All right, cool. So that's that. All right, once it gets sent to acquisitions, you put it in the board. Of course, in Sift, I could do an automation for that, but I don't care to do that. I mean, how much does it take? How many times does a lead manager truly move stuff to be sent to acquisitions? If they're doing their job, acquisitions aren't being sent a ton of leads, right? They're being sent stuff that's ready for an offer that's already pretty certain that they're going to accept that offer. At least that's how I do it, because I don't want to have to pay somebody in acquisitions to have to spend time speaking to people that they're not supposed to speak to. They need to be making offers and being a salesman, and then they need to be focused on learning how to close more deals, right? And if they're not doing that, then they need to be on the phone prospecting themselves. All right. So anyway, the other things that could happen is you can have, like, sometimes somebody submits something on like your website or something where the phone number is not a good number, even though it was an inbound lead. And so you got to sometimes like do some research to try to get them on, figure out who they are. And so that's what happens in here is we throw stuff in here that we need to research the owner. And ultimately, a lot of times these end up being like, not deals. Then you have lost deals. These are deals that, are basically, I don't know why those are sticking on the screen right now. Let me take a screenshot of that for my team. So you have your, what was I saying? We click off and then back onto the lead management board here. Okay, so you have your, let's scroll over, your lost deals. These are deals like literally that, obviously I'm generating good leads if I'm losing, if I lost 83 of the leads that they've already sold, right? Whether they're listed on the MLS or they were in another investor or whatever. Then you have some that became a buyer, people that just you got on the phone with and they said, hey, I'm not interested anymore. And then ones were like, they just weren't deals at all. They became a lead, but they're not actually deals. Okay, so that's my board. That's not really the main reason I wanted to do this video though. But I did want to show you that board. I do not come in here and drag and move these or anything like that. We don't operate off this board. The only reason that they're on here is so that we can see from a high level where everything's at. That's it. We actually operate our whole business off the records page, and I have a folder. So think of this kind of like what Podio does and many CRMs where, like Go High Level is the same kind of thing. Most people in Go High Level, they don't operate off of their pipeline boards or their deal board. They operate off the contacts, and they have preset filters that filter down the contacts. And this is the same thing. So I have a filter here for lead management, and it's my simple flow for, hey, is there anything that has a new lead task on it that needs called? And what I'm updating, remember in the beginning I said, hey, I need to update something. I can click in here, and we added this ability to have me. So I can update all of my filters now for any tasks to not have to be generic, to the whoever's clicking on this have to choose themselves. So instead it's me, which makes it uniform across the board. So I'm going to go through, and as I do this, anything that has a task filter on it, I'm going to have it have me on it as well, and I'm going to update there. So if I clicked apply on this, I don't have anything assigned to me as a task that is call new lead. But if I did switch this to Hunter or added Hunter onto this and clicked apply, Hunter has 4 tasks that are due on new leads. And so one of the first things in her lead management training manual is that, this is one of the first things that she does. She clicks on that first filter. Okay, so, but if she came in and clicked on this right now, it would show hers if she was on her account, right? Okay, so now after I do that, I'm going to do my engage new lead. So these are the people that have, again, they've became a lead and I'm trying to get them back on the phone, right? And so I'm going to click apply here, and right now I have none. Again, but if I were to switch and add Hunter onto here, if I would see that, oh, she actually has none as well. So that's good. All right, she has nothing that's due today at least. There could be a bunch overdue. Let's see. See how many got overdue. 11 that are overdue. And so, and this happens all the time. Right now it's in the middle of the weekend, so there's even more that are probably here that fell on the weekend because maybe she called them yesterday or whatever. Um, well, a few days ago because she was on PTO yesterday. But nevertheless, she would call through all these. So right now, she's going to call the 4 new leads. She's going to call the 11 new leads that are in that 72-hour cycle that need to be tried to get on the phone. And if some of these are on the third task, then they would get moved into nurture. And every 2 weeks, we would call them after that until they finally pick up and we can qualify them. Okay. After that, okay, she completes those tasks. Let me remove that and save this whole reason that I'm here, right? Uh, they're going to click on, hey, is there any new leads, anything that has a status of new lead inside of REI SIF that doesn't have a task on it? Click apply, and there's none. This is a fail safe. This is basically just making sure, like, hey, I just want to make sure that anything that is a new lead didn't slip through the cracks and automation didn't work and make it, the task not added. Hunter didn't, go on there on a new lead and complete a task, but then never add another one. Whatever the scenario is, it is a fail safe just to make sure that you're just covering your butt. That's all. All right. This is the same one here. This is more of a, hey, I want to make sure that, oh, this is another update. We made a new calendar. So I'm actually going to do this as well. I'm going to do 1 week ago from today, and I'm going to save that. This will automatically, now that we've added this, if I do prior to 1 week ago and today, anytime I come into this filter now, it's going to automatically update based on today's date. So if I click apply on this right now, what this is looking for is, hey, is there anything that's a new lead that is within the last 7 days? And it's still there, basically. And so, this is just another one of them fail safes, right? This is like on a Friday, you would come in here and you would click on it. And if it is Friday, you don't want anything on a Friday to pop up under here, right? Because if that's the case, it means that you didn't follow up with somebody. And so by the end of the day, Friday, you got to follow up with them and you got to, get them to that engage status. Okay. All right, and now we have qualified follows. This is all your qualified leads. So we have hot, warm, and cold property statuses here. I'm going to switch assign to me. All right, and then the status, basically the status, we bounce between due and overdue. So when we come in here, we're first going to look at overdue, right? And then we're going to switch it to due today. And so we do that each time. And in the training manual, it says that. So once you get to where you've completed all the other filters above and you get down to qualified follow-ups, we're looking at, is there anything with an overdue task, which I know there is. So there's 12 right now that are overdue, and then due today. And if we click apply on that one, they do that. So basically, right now what we know is Hunter has 4 new leads, 11 engaged leads, and then, what was it? Like 10 or 8 or 9 or something like that qualified to do, 12 of them. So right now there's 12, 11, and 4. So that's 13, 20, 23, 27, I think, if I did my math right in my head. 27 tasks that have to be completed right now. And in Monday, maybe there's a few more, but then she's going to be caught up, right? And so once she gets done PTO, she'll be caught up and we'll be back on track for as new leads come in, it'll all get processed. And so it's a really easy process. Every single day is just wake up, check my inbounds, and then I come down to my lead management and then click on new leads, engage new leads, and just work my way down this flow. And the very last one I do is send back to acquisition. So this is basically a task that we have where if someone from acquisitions calls somebody who is supposed to make an offer on it and that offer was rejected, then we kick it back to lead management. We create a task on it, and then lead manager calls them back and says, hey, what's going on? I heard that, that Tyler guy, he was a jerk and he made you this lowball offer and you didn't like it. And so what can I do? How can I help? It's just really building that rapport back as much as possible, okay? And so that's the lead management flow. And so I updated my filters to the filter by me. That way it's universal. So I can come in here and I can click on this and it'll show my task, but so can Hunter click on it and see her tasks or anybody else, that clicks on this filter if they have access to that folder. can do it without having to update anything. So it's really seamless. So I'm really happy that we added that small little thing. I realized it's one of those things you wouldn't even think that, like, why wouldn't you have that to begin with? Well, because I don't know, we didn't. So now we do, which is awesome. So all right, so that is a lead management flow in basically 20 minutes that will produce you multiple six figures and beyond, to seven figures if you just follow that. You do not need drip automations and all that other kind of stuff. All you need to do is have literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at minimum 5 filters, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 statuses: new lead, engage new lead, cold, hot, warm. 5 statuses, actually. You need 5 statuses in 5 filters, okay? And then a task that says, I need to do it on this day. And that's it. And if you just have a lead manager or yourself and you're a new investor, you can follow this. And I promise you, you will do deals. The only thing that will make you not do deals is if you don't have new stuff coming in. Okay, but sure as hell, you won't miss out on anything. Unless, of course, somebody else calls the lead and has better tonality and all that other stuff than you. That's a whole nother conversation. Okay, so now, one of the things that I get often is, well, Tyler, if somebody stops communicating with me and I consider them like a dead or a ghosting lead, what do? Switch it to not interested. That's it. All you do. Let's just say I'm calling. Let's just say I take one of these leads. I'll do the engage new lead. All right. Let's add like Hunter, and we'll do overdue. Yeah, that works. Okay, let's just grab one of these. So let's just say I call this I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's just say I call that number. Okay, and they say I don't get a hold of them. Let's say I don't get a hold of them. Let's use that first. I don't get a hold of them, and I've been trying to call them forever. You decide what that is. Maybe it's 30 attempts. I don't know. I'll just say, you know what? This is not interested. I move the status to not interested on the record. These are all, you can customize these by default. Not interested is inside of RISF, but let's say I move it to not interested. All I'm going to do is move it to not interested, and then just move it down the board to not interested anymore. Okay. And what's going to happen organically in my business, because my business is put together, is they're going to automatically, on my quarterly rehash for not interested campaigns, they're going to automatically end up in this marketing campaign. So right now, in fact, I'll do this now, prior to 90 days ago, from today would be what I would do. I'll update that filter too while I'm here. Click apply. As of right now, I would follow up with 575 people, okay, in my not interested campaign. All right, because they're prior to, I'm sorry. Let me see here. That's not how I want that filter. So we're going to do prior to, we'll do 12. And then the date would be starting, what is August? Or what is today? Today's July. Today's September. So it would be prior to June 1st. That would be the last quarter and earlier. So ignore that. You guys don't need to really worry about that. But it would be 1,179 not interested, right? And so at the start of next quarter, basically, I would select all these records and I would call through them again. And so the person, that dead lead, isn't getting forgotten about. They're just being considered not interested no more. They're not communicating with me. I'm just going to say, hey, they're not interested. And then I still have a process, though, to call that person, right? I'm not forgetting about them just because I can't get a hold of them. That's my version of a drip campaign. My not interested to get mail every single quarter, and they get a phone call every single quarter, and they get a text message every single quarter. And so I'm still following up with them. I'm still on their radar. I'm still trying to engage them, but I'm not convoluting my process with a ton of drip campaigns. And that's a really easy way to just keep things simple and not think that it has to be more than what it needs to be. It can be that simple, and I promise you, if you do this, you'll close deals in the REI SIFT community specifically. I mean, you can go into the mastermind group on Facebook, and you can see people are closing deals all the time, doing a simple process, whether they're using SIFT as their CRM or not. To be honest with you, is like the ideology still there, right? Okay, and lastly, I'm going to show you one more thing, and it's the sequences, right? I only have under my lead management sequence one sequence. Okay, and this is an automation. And so all it is when a property status changes from any status, and by default, any is like, obviously, by default, property status is null, right? So if you already have the data inside of REISIF, it would have 0 property status. Okay. If it's coming inbound from an integration, it's, well, if it was an outbound, I'm not going to get into that actually. So any to new lead. So it has any status, it becomes new lead. Then this sequence is going to trigger, and it's going to say, hey, add that to your SIF line board under new lead, and then add a call new lead task. So what's that going to do automatically is going to add it to not SIFT map, but to my new lead board here so that I see it's there, so I visually know. But then whenever my lead manager comes in here and clicks on call new lead, they're going to have a task right there in a record to handle, right? And so it's that simple. That's the most important filter. It's the only or sequence. It's the only sequence we use. You got to be able to prove that you can do that, meaning call the new lead, and then figure out what that next step is. Because if you can't even do that consistently, then why are you thinking about everything else? And that's a big thing. A lot of people, like, you got to prove that you can show up to actually do the simple stuff before you even worry about all that other stuff. And too many people don't get that, and then they bounce between one system and another system, and it ruins them. So rob and duplicate this lead management process. I promise you it works. I have a ton of rentals myself. I've closed millions in real estate wholesaling and flipping and everything else. And this is what I do. It's not any more complicated than that. Obviously there's a lot of words being spoken, but it's still a whole process within 30 minutes. Okay. And if you just follow this and literally replicate it, and I know REISIF also has trainings. You can go to the academy and watch, videos on this. You can do the challenges. You can do all that stuff. But if you would like to be part of a community that focus on this and be coached directly by me and my community members, then you can submit to be a part of that in the description below. But there's a lot of other resources before you make that step. Okay. Alrighty. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, an amazing month, and a fantastic year. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.